Hello everyone. In this session, we want to take a look at Event Viewer. Event Viewer is a tool that allows the administrator to view events that occur and that Windows Server records into one of the server log files. We're going to open Event Viewer by clicking on Tools, Event Viewer. Any events that have occurred on your computer are going to be saved in one of the log files so that the administrator can always go back and look at those log files to interpret and to understand the event that occurred and find a solution for that event. We have custom views for the log file. We have Windows logs, we have application logs, and we have subscriptions. Let's take a look at Windows logs. I'm going to expand Windows logs, and we see here we have a number of logs: application, security, setup, system. And we want to click on the first one, application log. You can see here in the application log we have different types of events. We have the warning events. You see the yellow triangle. And for each event, you have the date and time. You have the source of that event. You have the ID of the event. And you have the task. You also have the error event. You see that is the one with the red circle. You have also the information event, which is the blue event with the exclamation mark in the middle. Each of these events, you can click on one of the events, and then you can look in the pane at the bottom and see the details for that particular event. The application log records events logged by programs. For example, a database program might record a file error in the application log. And then the program developer may decide which event he or she wants to monitor. And then you have the security log, which is the second log here on the application log. And let's click on security log. The security log records security events, such as perhaps a valid or invalid logon attempt. Also records events related to resource use, such as creating, opening, or deleting files or other objects. And what it does, it helps you track changes to the security system and identifies any possible breaches to security. For example, if someone is trying to access a file or a folder or printer or the registry and they do not have the right, they were not given the right on the network to access that particular object, then that item is going to be recorded in the security log. If a person is trying to log on and they were not given the right to log on to a system, it is going to be recorded whether or not they were successful or not successful, depending on the setting that the administrator had configured. You also have the setup log, and the setup log creates log files for all actions that occur during installation. So if you're doing an installation, the action will be recorded in the setup log. If you're experiencing problems installing Windows, all you need to do is to go to the log files and troubleshoot that installation. And then we have the system log. And this system log records events logged by the system components. For example, the failure of a driver or other system components to load during startup is recorded in the system log. The types of events logged by system components are predetermined by your Windows operating system. You can also attach tasks and event by right-clicking on that particular event and saying attach task to this event. Here you see the name of the event. You follow the wizard, click on next, gives you the log name, the source, and the event ID. Click on next to continue. And you now have to decide what action you want the task to perform. And you can see here that send an email and display a message about retired. So the option that you have, the only option here you have is to start a program. So we want to click next on that option. And here you actually have to browse for that program. And you can write that program in a PowerShell script. And browse for the script and add the script right here where it says start a program. So we don't have the email feature anymore or the messaging feature, but you can send the email using a PowerShell script. If you don't know how to write that script, you can simply Google it online. There are lots of examples of how to send a PowerShell script. So remember that we can create a basic task. You can also create the task using Task Scheduler. Let's cancel this. So those are the Windows logs. Application Security System Setup. You can also right-click on one of the logs and you can click on Properties. Here you see that there's a maximum log size. You can increase that log size. You also have some choices here when the maximum event log is reached. Either overwrite events as needed, archive the log when full, do not overwrite, or do not overwrite events. And this one will clear your logs. You have to clear the logs manually for this one. So you might want to increase the maximum log size or decrease the maximum log size, depending on what you want to do for that particular log. Let's cancel that box. You also have the option of filtering your log. Maybe you did not want to have all of this log information. Maybe you only wanted the warnings, or maybe you only wanted the errors. If we were to do that for the application log, we would right click on the application log and you would say filter current log. Let's look at the system log to do that one. To filter the system log, you would right click on the system log and click on filter current log, and you can actually choose the events that you want. You have critical warning, error, and information. So if we only wanted to view the errors, you would click on errors. And here you also can include the category and the keywords. You can choose the event source that you want. You right click and you can click on whatever event source you wanted and you can go ahead and say OK, which will give you just the particular errors and not the information and all of the other errors. So you are able to filter on all of these log files. We are also able to do a customized view of events across any event log stored on a server. Rather than looking through each event log for specific items of interest, we can create event log views that target only those specific items. The customized view differs from filters in the following ways. Persistence. You can use a view across multiple event viewer sessions. If you configure a filter on a log, it is not available the next time you open the event viewer. Also, the customized view can give you multiple logs. A custom view can display events from separate logs. If you did a filter is only limited to displaying events from one log. Thirdly, the customized view is exportable. You can import and export event log views between computers. Creating an event log view, a customized event log view, is a similar process to creating a filter. Let's take a look. In the left pane, we want to right-click on Custom Views and select Create Custom View. We can choose here from logged, anytime, last hour, last 12 hours, last 24 hours. You can choose the time. We're going to leave it at any time. And you can choose your event level. For the filter, remember the filter is only done for one event, and when you close that event, the filter is gone. For the custom view, we're actually doing a log file with all of these settings intact, and they will be saved that we can go back and we can look at them. So let's say we chose critical and warning, and then you can choose the log. By log, you can click the down arrow and you can choose whether you want Windows logs or application logs. We're going to expand the Windows logs, and we're going to choose system as the event log that we want to include in this custom view. We can also choose the event ID, or we can choose all event IDs. We can include keywords that we want. We can include all users or specific user. We can include all computers or a specific computer. When we have made all the configuration changes, we can go ahead and say OK. We can then give this custom view a name. So we can probably call it System View. And we can select where we want to save the custom view. We can save it in Event Viewer, or we can save it in Custom Views. And we're going to just go ahead and click on OK. Remember, we said all users. You can pick a specific user or all users. And we're going to say OK here. If you look in the left-hand pane, you will see that you now have a custom view. And we had selected warning or critical. And we can see here that we have those items now saved as a custom view. To recap, we looked at the different Windows logs, application security setup and system. We looked at the different columns that we could have for each event. We looked at the filter that we can place on the log. We also looked at custom views. We can create custom views. We can save those custom views so that we have that custom view within the event log console. Besides the Windows logs, we also have application and services logs. And these are other logs that we can look at. We have hardware, Internet Explorer, key management, and it depends on what you have installed on your server. If you have Active Directory installed, if you have DNS, if you have DHCP, all of these are going to show up on the application and services log, and you'll be able to track those events. This is the end of the session on Event Viewer, Windows logs, application services logs. We want to take a look at event subscriptions in our next session. I want to thank you for listening.